The Kinks, Waterloo Sunset here on ABC Goldfields, Esperance, Midwest and Wheatbelt. It's just 7 minutes to 7 o'clock. Now, it does take a bit of determination and fun to write a novel, and that's what Kalgoorlie Boulder-raised Michael McGinty has done. He grew up in the Goldfields and moved to Perth in the 70s. He's back in town again in the patch that he loves, and he's come to the ABC for a chat. He's a science fiction novelist and software engineer. What a mix, love it. And joins you now. Good morning, Michael. Welcome back to Kalgoorlie Boulder. What is it like to be back? I know that you've got family here, but what is it like to be back again?
Yeah, thanks, Ivo. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Look, pleased to be back in Kalgoorlie. I'm overwhelmed since the article went into the paper a couple of weeks ago at the support I've got. My family does live here, and basically I work for Kalgoorlie people in Perth as well, so I'm Kalgoorlie through and through.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's what we like to hear. Now, how did you become a science fiction writer?
Look, I'm a hardware software engineer. And I kind of think that engineers are inventors.
Yep.
So they're the new class of inventors. And science fiction allows you to invent worlds and places and people. And I just like the flexibility that it gives and just the imagination that it takes. And I was always a fan of Ray Bradbury and Arthur C. Clarke, and just those worlds were amazing.
People say that everyone's got a book in them, that they just need to write it. Was it hard to write the book, or was it free flowing for you? Oh, I have a Bex and a lie down.
Yeah. Look, it's taken about 8 years, but the engineer in me took over for a little while and wanted to control it, so I ran it like a project. So I started writing, and then I figured out that I needed to learn how to write. So I joined writing groups and went online and looked at how people comments and things like that about writing. So I kind of took on board all of that, and then I set about writing the novel. And I've basically met a lot of people along the way that have helped me out. My editor, Scott Vandervalk in Victoria. These kind of people helped me through the process. And look, it is an achievement as far as I'm concerned, because everyone thinks engineers can't write or spell.
Michael McGinty is a science fiction novelist and software engineer. He joins you here on ABC Goldfields, Esperance, Midwest and Wheatbelt. What was it like going to John Paul College and seeing the students? Because that's your old school.
I haven't been there yet. We're going this morning.
Okay, yeah.
So at 11 o'clock this morning. I'm really looking forward to this. And not only that, but yesterday I had coffee with Lynn Smith, who was my high school English teacher.
Wow.
So I've invited her to come along with me. So I think that kind of tells a bit of a story in that she was an inspiration to me. And if together we can inspire one of those kids to write a book, that would be fantastic.
Because you were at the old CBC Kalgoorlie.
I was, yeah. I started out in Butler Street in St Michael's, and I shifted to the CBC in Wilson Street, and I had my last 2 years in Lionel Street.
Wow.
So, when the girls and boys were separated.
Yeah. Was it Prindiville was the other?
It was Prindiville, yeah.
Reading and writing are fundamental in a children's education. Would you like to see more funds given to people to become writers?
Look, I would, and it's probably not the funds, it's the people who can come and tell the young kids that they can do it.
Yeah.
And explain how you would go about doing it. And I think if more effort was done, and a lot of writers and all that give their time freely. And like I'm a new author, but I can see straight away, I just love talking about the writing process and trying to help people. And I've been helped along the way myself. I've reached out to a lot of people, even in LA. I've got an author over there, Alex Austin, who's written a book called N-Man, and we swap stories and like I've made friends with people that I never expected I would. So
give us a synopsis of the book. Tell us its name and how can people get it?
Okay, so it's called ENTROPY. So it's about extinction of the human race, which sounds like a downer, but
Just a little bit there.
It is, but when you think Planet of the Apes,
Yes, great movie.
I Am Legend, The Omega Man, they're all about the end of humanity. So I basically, that's the overarching theme of the book, but I concentrated on the data that's being created around us every day, all the ones and zeros that are being created and saved everywhere. And I kind of thought, well, at the end, you could recreate our presence here. It's like what we're creating is a look back into this time. And then you think, well, what if not all the data is correct? What if there's lies in there's Twitter lies and things like that? So the book is about a data washer, so a fellow whose job it is to wash all the rubbish out of it, and collect the knowledge of mankind together. And he thinks he's living in the perfect world, but he's worried about entropy. He knows it's all going to finish. So he's a bit worried about that, but what he doesn't know is that it might be already finished.
Beautiful. So, and how can people get the book?
Look, you can get it on Amazon, but I would really like people to go to their local bookshop.
Absolutely.
Hit them up and say, look, get this book in, and get it that way.
Well, Michael, thank you for joining us here on ABC Goldfields, Esperance, Midwest and Wheatbelt.
Thank you very much, Ivo.
It's coming up to 7 o'clock. Your statewide 10-minute bulletin is being prepared. Get yourself a cuppa and listen in. I'll be back with you afterwards with the med students who have graced the airways with you from the start.